Welcome back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight I'm talking about a movie that was definitely my favorite horror movie when it first came out. I watched it over and over and over again. Every time we went to the video store, I always asked for it to be rented for me. And I'm talking about Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. This was absolutely my favorite horror movie when it first came out. Like I said, I watched it over and over again. And over the year, and I saw it at the theater. I was taking a seat at the theater by an uncle. We had a blast, and it was a fun experience. You know, I was so young when it first came out, and but I enjoyed it. I had a blast. Probably too young to see that kind of movie, but it was fun, and I enjoyed it. Never forgot it, and appreciated being taken to the movies to see this. And I wanted to be taken to. I asked to be taken to it, and it was my favorite. And over the years, I kind of gravitated back to part 3 and 4. Over the years, though, 3, 4, and 6 of Friday the 13th have always fought for my number one spot. Always fought for my number one spot. Well, recently I watched Friday the 13th Part 6 again, and then a movie reaction to it because I seen it a million times when I was a kid. Saw 3 and 4 over and over and over again. I always go back and forth. I don't know which one's my favorite, except recently when I watched it again, something happened. I might be gravitating back towards Part 6. Maybe something happened. I tell you, I had such a fun time watching it again and watching people react to it. I saw a really good YouTube video. It was a reaction not too long ago, Friday the 13th, part 6, and it was fun. And it just brought me back. So 3, 4, and 6 are my favorite Friday the 13th of the Friday the 13th franchise. And this one might be my number one again. I don't know. If I ever do a ranking, it's going to be tough. And maybe one day on the channel, I'll do a Friday the 13th ranking because I don't know if it's 3, 4, and 6. I tell you, this was my favorite as a kid. Might be going back to part 6. I don't know. But Jason's awesome in here. He's powerful. I like when he's powerful. One of the reasons I liked Halloween Kills so much, more than I thought I would, is because I mean I like 2018. I like Halloween Ends. I did, but I think I like Halloween Kills the best of those three films of that trilogy because Michael Myers was so powerful. One of the reasons I've always loved Friday the 13th 6, Jason Lives, is because he's so powerful in here. But another reason too is I think it's the funniest, or one of the funniest. Jason X had some funny moments in there as well. Other parts from other sequels in the franchise had funny parts. But this one here, I had the most fun with it and still do. I still have the most fun with Friday the 13th Part 6. And I'd probably have to do a ranking of it one day. I love how it starts, how they dig them up. And Tom Matthews, if my memory serves me right, he was so funny in Return of the Living Dead. I remember when I was young and this movie came out, and I had it rented for me over and over again. My cousin say, "Why?" My cousin asked me, "Why did you watch this over and over again?" Because he never seen the movie. And then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna check." He's about 7 years older than me. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna check it out, see why you like it so much. And he ended up liking it, and he thought it was really a good movie too. And then he noticed Tom Matthews. I believe it's Tim or Tom Matthews. Uh, and he recognized him, and then he recognized him from Return of the Living Dead, which I had never seen. So he showed me Return of the Living Dead one day, and I really liked that movie. It was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. My humor is I don't really laugh too much at comedies, normal comedies, especially new comedies, because I think they're pretty restricted, and I just don't think I think they're rather more obnoxious and irritating than funny the way they make the comedies nowadays. I'm more old school. I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Stir Crazy, shows like that. But actually, there's non comedies that I laugh at more than normal comedies. My humor is kind of dark, and I actually have um, a kind of a dark sense of humor, but fun and good natured. But I usually laugh at movies that are not comedies. I think sometimes they're funnier than normal comedies. It's just my sense of humor. I think certain parts of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was really, really funny. Horrible, tragic ending though. I sometimes I cry at the ending. It's sad. I get watery eyed. So it's a mixture of drama and just devastating sadness, especially with Billy towards the end. And but there's so many funny parts in there. The Shining, I thought, had funny parts, even though it was scary to a lot of people, and it was. Edge of Sanity with Anthony Perkins is to me funnier than almost any comedy I've ever seen. But and then I'm old school. I was raised on certain movies, but in older school comedies like um, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Even though that came out after Porky's, I saw all the Porky's when I was a kid. I thought they were really funny, politically incorrect and funny. That's probably why it was so funny. But yeah, I'm kind of old school with it when it comes to my comedies. But Friday the 13th Part 6 has some funny scenes in there. Really funny scenes. And anyway, I think that it was one of the best movies I'd ever seen. Couldn't stop watching it, and I think that it had great action, great kills. It had a lot of what Friday the 13th fans expect, a lot of what I expected and wanted, and it delivered. Alice Cooper did great music in there. The Man Behind the Mask, that was iconic. I remember that. I got a lot of nostalgia for this movie. And when Tom Matthews was on the phone and he wanted to be picked up, he said, "I'm at Karloff's General something," and then the girl went to pick him up. She did a great job. Everyone in here, I thought, really did a good job. I thought the characters were. One thing about this movie is um, the characters weren't irritating to me. I think everyone in here was fun. If characters in a movie irritate me too much, the movie will tend to drop in my ratings. It'll tend to go down. I'll start to hope that the either Jason or Freddy dispatches with more victims and has more victims. But this movie here doesn't really irritate me at all. None of the characters really irritate me. I'm actually happy with the cast. I think it's a very fun movie, interesting, and it's a fast pace. One thing I love about Friday the 13th Part 6 is it's a fast pace. 3 is one of my favorite Friday the 13th. I really like it. Got a lot of nostalgia for it. Saw it when I was really young with my cousin. And but it had some slow moments. It had some slow moments. 6 doesn't. And 4 is not a slow one either. 6 does not have slow moments to me. Jason's powerful. It's nonstop. It's like a roller coaster. It's really fun. I like the callback to the old kind of Universal monsters with that Karloff reference. Boris Karloff, who was famous for playing in so many roles, especially Frankenstein, made him a legend. And he was the voice for the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Fantastic, fantastic actor, horror legend, very charismatic. When you see him, he's a character, perfect for Frankenstein. And I like how it went back. And Jason was reanimated. He came back to life because of electricity, because of the lightning, just like in Frankenstein. And he came back so powerful. It was such a great callback to the Universal monster Frankenstein, and that it reminded me of that. It gives it even more credibility to me in horror, and it's funner because of it. And yes, like I said, Jason's more powerful, he's stronger, harder to kill. And there's some really good scenes in here with the sheriff trying to stop Jason before he gets his daughter, Megan. And by the way, I ad lib most of my videos, or almost all my videos. There's never any script. I'm kind of a casual YouTuber. I just do this off the cuff, no rehearsing. I just kind of think about the movie and what I want to say and just go. So I'm doing it all from the heart and mind. But yeah, this is Friday the 13th Part 6 is arguably my favorite Friday the 13th. It's still a fight between 3, 4, and 6, but I might choose Part 6 again. I might go back because it was so fun watching it recently and watching that YouTube movie reaction to it. It was really fun, and I enjoy this movie. It's absolutely one of my favorites, and it'll might be number one again. Maybe I will do a ranking on this channel of mine in the future, and make a decision before I put that video out which one's my favorite. It's still a fight between 3, 4, and 6, but I am kind of leaning towards 6 again. I think it's a blast. If you want to have fun with a horror movie, it's not only one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies, it's one of my favorite horror movies, period. And it ranks, it's got to be in my top 20 or top 10 horror movies of all time. I wouldn't really know how to rank it compared to all the other ones, but it's definitely up there. It's one of my favorites. And I've always been a fan of the Friday the 13th franchise. I think I've mentioned in other Friday the 13th videos, movie review videos that I've done, that I've always liked it because of the setting of the forest, being out in nature. And there's something archetypal about it, the monster in the forest. Maybe it goes back to Grendel against Beowulf, Beowulf against Grendel. The Beowulf kills Grendel, and then Grendel's mother comes back to avenge him. Their fortress or their headquarters, whatever you want to call it, it's strange, but it's underwater. So it's kind of similar. Jason drowns in water, and his mother goes to avenge him. And there's kind of similar. I don't think they did that on purpose. I don't think they copied Beowulf or anything, but it's kind of archetypal. And then the monster in the forest, that goes way back centuries and thousands of years. There's always been danger in the forest or in a hidden land or someplace you haven't been, and it's very primal and very interesting and just raw. I always liked the Friday the 13th franchise because of the nature aspect, and I always thought the score was good. The story was good. The concept, it was all good. It's all good. Is it safe? No. But anyway, it's a very fun movie. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, is a blast, and I highly recommend it. If most people have seen it, if you haven't seen it, it's got a good ending. It's an interesting ending. When I say good, what I mean is it's very satisfying and it's interesting. I Most people have seen it. Most of my videos are spoiler videos, so it wouldn't be a problem if I just talked about the ending. But I won't. I usually do, but I won't. Most people have seen this. I was actually surprised. Someone said that this was it didn't make much money compared to part 3, 4, and 5. I thought it would have made more money at the box office than part 5, but I guess it didn't. I heard that. Maybe the person I heard it from was wrong. I don't know. But I thought that this one was the best, at least at the time. Now it's between 3, 4, and 6. I go back and forth. I'm surprised it didn't make a lot more money when it opened at the theater when it first came out back in the 80s. But man, I tell you, was it 86 or 7 that it came out? Something like that. I forgot the year, but I was taken to the theater and saw it, had a blast. And Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, is not a slow movie. It's fun. It's got good kills, a good story. Jason's powerful. I think it's everything that a Friday the 13th fan, at least from my perspective, would want. So if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. I highly recommend it. This has been the Late Night Review, and take care, everybody. Oh yeah, and please, if you want to, like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and share this video so other people can see this wonderful content and enjoy the movies. Thank you very much, and have a good night.